and there's no greater message than reducing the dropout rate. So we know we have the message. I hope this motivates you to become the best.
And that's the reward. Those are the fruits. Keep on pushing, you know, if you just keep going instead of just quitting. So, and the reward was $5,000 saving fund. You know, I was going to quit. This guy came in and inspired me to resume it. So I finished it out.
One thing that we teach in mentoring is giving back to your community. Please don't ever forget where you came from. Because just like these young men found their purpose in life and are a contributor to our society, so will you. You're going to do the same thing. The mystery in life is we don't know how beautiful or how great you are going to become. That's the big mystery in life. We don't know that. But I'm going to be so curious to see how you develop. We have to take our message across the entire nation because there are no children like you, no young adults that have come out of a program like Upward Bound that are living examples of success. So this is what we want to have for you. Is everybody in agreement? Do you think you might want to become a success story so that you can honor your parents or guardians? It's a noble cause. How can it be wrong? And the key in life, you check everything out with your parent or your guardian. I don't care what adults out there, you and ladies, you trust your gut instinct, it's called intuition. Enjoy your youth. Don't try and grow up too fast. That's what this is all about. Unfortunately, we do not win every single battle. So if anybody ever would love to change the world teaching, it's a beautiful way to do it. And I hope you have the greatest success in your life. Thank you very much. Child in the United States deserves to be educated? Well, I do. The reason why I believe this is I grew up in a barrio called Sunnyside in Adrian, Michigan. It was a very poor barrio. My parents couldn't afford to send me to a private school or any other school for that matter. There were no tutorial services, anything like that that I could take advantage of. I had the opportunity of meeting an instructor there, Mr. Arthur Marquardt, who became a diplomat for the U.S. State Department, and he got a chance to meet Mother Teresa on one of his travels. Mother Teresa told him that the way that we change the world is by one act of kindness at a time. I can't think of any other better way to express an act of kindness to a child, a citizen of the United States, than by educating that child, ideally for free. Yes, I believe it's every child's right. Do you believe that creativity helps to foster problem solving? I've got a great story on this one because just before meat testing, the standardized tests that every student has to take in the state of Michigan, I remember seeing a couple of my students. One had been a prize winner in an art contest, and the other just simply loved art. And I remember them, we were debating issues about certain features that came out in particular models of automobiles. And I had to interrupt them to tell them that, how do you guys get this? How do you remember all these details? And he said, oh, Mr. Perez, the way we do it, we visualize. We think of the charts and graphs and all those different articles that we read in Car and Driver, Motor Trend, and all the automobiles. That way we know what features are on what cars. So they had this ability to analyze the information and retain it as well. So what was really cool about it is, you know, you might want to consider when you take that meat test, just pretend it's a section or a selection from Car and Driver. Of course the content is going to be different, but search for your material the same way that you did on Car and Driver. Henry became the highest tester at the awards ceremony that year. He tested the highest at Earhart Middle School in both the meat test and the Terra Nova test. So yes, it's creativity really. If you transfer those skills into something different like a standardized test Oh yeah, it can be it can be used to your advantage. Do you feel the educational system in the United States is failing the children? Yes, I believe that we're in a sense failing our children, because if we as teachers don't find a better way to connect with our students, we're going to lose even more. The dropout rate is the #1 piece of evidence that I would say we're failing somewhere and we need to recapture. I have been very, very blessed in Detroit because of the nature of my subject and the nature of my students. I've just had the best. So that, in my sense, I never failed my students. That's why we produce winners there. But in certain classes, I do remember seeing little Henry, the same child that scored the highest on the MEP and the Terra Nova. This is a young man who really wasn't performing in his other classes. He felt disconnected. I believe at the time, I don't know how many people bothered to ask him, his father had been shot and killed, and so there were some things that were going through his mind. Once we discussed that and we spoke about that, he was ready to learn. But yeah, sometimes we have to ask our children, we have to get to know them a little bit better, because the answer is simple and we just didn't bother to ask the right questions. So we do have to become better teachers. But we're intelligent people, we're educated, and we can make that change. We have the ability to reflect on our teaching style, to be able to correct it or improve it in some manner. Do you believe that a good teacher can inspire children or students to fulfill their potential in life, their purpose in life? Yes, absolutely. By the students that we'll be touring with, you'll see the evidence, you'll see what is possible when there is caring, when there is mentorship, when there's a great exchange of information. I do remember this story of a little girl in the 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, where she was learning to make a pot on a potter's wheel. And she was proud of it, called the teacher over, and the teacher noticed that the pot wasn't perfectly centered. So the teacher ended up smashing the pot, and to this day I should say, my wife has never touched a potter's wheel in her life. However, there was another teacher at that school. That teacher happened to be her French teacher, and he encouraged her language skills. He said that she talked a lot, but that she caught on to language very, very quickly. She just retired from Detroit Public Schools after a 21-year career as a Spanish teacher. So apparently, yeah, teachers can motivate you. Oh yeah. Do you believe that you're the teacher that can reduce the dropout rate in your school? I believe you are. I was one of the teachers by the evidence that we have of the students that have graduated. And when you get a chance to when you get a chance to speak with these students at our workshops, at our presentations, you'll hear the words directly from their mouths as to what great teaching, what constitutes great teaching, and how they were inspired to go on and not only survive, but to really, really prosper and thrive in this new environment. Yes, I believe that you are the one that can be that child's caring person, and that they'll remember you for the rest of your life. I know that you, just like myself, we are very, very educated individuals, and we care for the students that we teach. And I know that you also realize that only through massive intervention and fine-tuning our system to learn from each other from across this nation, finding out stories of hope, I know that you're with me in this sense. We are not going to leave one child behind. That's our mission.